that's really all we kind of have on that front. Moving forward, I wanted to touch on the Lions versus the Bucs. This was a resulted in a loss for the Lions. The final score was 2016. The Bucs ended up taking the W. And I'll kind of get us started with this one. This game was pretty rough on the Lions front. There was a lot of penalties called, like especially early in the game, that I was kind of getting annoyed with. But I don't want to say the entirety of the blame, but Jared Goff was not good in this game. I thought his decision making was rough. Our offensive line was doing their job protecting him. Like he was having time in the pocket, but there's no reason he should have attempted 55 passes in this game. Not with the run game that we have. Like we have Jameer Gibbs, we have David Montgomery. I just don't think there should really ever be a game during the season where he needs to throw 55 passes. And if I'm not mistaken, did he have any touch? I don't even know if he. I don't think he did. All his picks were very very questionable, very very rough. And that pick in the fourth quarter especially had me scratching my head. Um, and we're a great crunch time team. So I was kind of when we got the ball back in the fourth, I was very optimistic. But stats like those also kind of worry me a little bit because why are we always coming from behind and always in crunch time situations? Like I'd rather just win the game without all of like the
Yes.
hysteria and drama. But I think our defense was really the story of this game. They gave our offense so many chances, chance after chance, and we just couldn't capitalize. It kind of felt like we were like stuck in the mud a bit. Um, so we just weren't making things happen. I want to shout out Aiden Hutchinson. He had 4.5 stacks, and he couldn't be stopped no matter who they matched up with him. He was just amazing. And the biggest thing for me, because I think we should have won this game. I think that blunder going into halftime where they had 12 players on the field when we could have kicked the
Yeah,
field
kick the
goal.
field goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
causing that 10-second runoff. That kind of I don't want to say it, like mistakes happen, but that
No, they
is
lost the game for sure because if they would have did that, they could have instead of trying to like the way they played at the end of the game, it was like they're playing conservative to kick a field goal instead of taking shots to the end zone when we needed to win by a touchdown. But if we had kicked the field goal before halftime, then we could have kicked the field goal there and won the game. So
Yep.
yeah, that was coaching year on Dan Campbell, and he even came out and said that in his press conference. So yeah,
And Baker Mayfield was he was just cooking us. Like there was nothing else I could say. He was using his legs, extending plays, breaking two, three, four like tackles in a play. Like it was a lot. It was a lot to watch. Yeah, I was at my buddy Herschel's place again. We usually get together on Sundays and watch the Lions game, and definitely a rough day for us. And also Chris Goodwin as well. He played really well. He had 7 receptions for 117 yards. So they just had a good night. And hopefully the Lions will take this game and sort of learn from it, like moving forward. And we won't lose close games like this as the season progresses. But yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to you, Brett. Kind of, what were your thoughts on the game?
yeah, I think really this game came down to our coaching staff losing the third chess match because in the first two games, Todd Bowles blitzed a lot. So Ben Johnson put together the game plan that he wanted to throw a lot of the quick passes to the flat to Jameer Gibbs and like to screens to like Amon-Ra St. Brown, et cetera, et cetera. But they were ready for that the whole game. And they actually didn't blitz as much as they had previously did in our matchups with them last year in the regular season and then in the playoffs. So they came with the counter plan to win when we then account for them ever like adjusting from what they had did last year. So for me, in my head, that's ineptitude in the coaching staff. They should have made better adjustments at halftime to counteract the game plan. And like you said, Jared Goff threw the ball way too much. That's not really how we win. Like there was no power football to be had for some reason. I think they assumed that they were going to sack the Bucs, so we just didn't run the ball when they didn't. So
When
we
we
could have
did run the
easily
ball,
waited.
it was effective.
Yeah, exactly. Like so I don't know why we like got away from that. That kind of bewildered me. But yes, Jared Goff did play bad. But I will also say that the offensive line hasn't been as dominant for some reason as they've been in the past, especially like in the interior. As much as I love Frank Ragnow, our All Pro center, he's been struggling, like which is very odd for him. If you when you look at his PFF grade, he just hasn't been winning as many reps as he usually does. I think honestly, he has like that lingering toe injury thing, so that could be like bothering him more than like he's actually like saying on like the report or whatever. Because um, yeah, he just didn't look up to par with how he usually is able to play. And Jared Goff is terrible against interior pressure. Like he can evade like some rushing a little bit, but like when the pocket collapses from the inside, like it's clipped. So that's something that they're definitely gonna have to work on if we want to continue to be effective like in the passing game. They have to be able to protect him from the in the interior better. Um, and like the coaching mistakes. Could have kicked that field goal. JMO is great though.
Yeah.
Another highlight. JMO has continued to shine in the first two games this season, so that's really exciting to see. And hopefully he continues that on that trajectory. Laporta has been like a no call no show for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that.
They only threw him the ball like 3 times though. Like I didn't really. They weren't even looking for him. I don't know
That,
what.
that's true, but also was he open? I don't know. I wish they would like show like the view sometimes where like you're behind the QB and you can kind of see
Mhm.
like what's
From
going
the
on.
PV, yeah.
Yeah, I wish they would do that a little bit more often because then I could like you could kind of see like oh like he's open like why didn't he get the ball or etc. But yeah, I don't know. It could have been a Goff, it could have been Laporta, could have been both, but the chemistry hasn't been there. And I think also this goes back to not playing any of the starters during the preseason because we're assuming like we're just going to be like good. I don't think that was a wise decision in my opinion. I feel like they all should have played at least for like a quarter, like every
Mhm.
game, just to kind of shake off the rust a little bit because I feel like
Now they're trying to work it off in during
exactly
the
they're just
season.
trying to work it off in real game, and it's kind of it might cost us. And I don't know, Kyler Murray's like red hot. I sadly think we might start off 1-2, and that's not exactly the way that I was expecting us to start the season. So yeah, so it's just overall a little disappointing for me.